What if Capricorn wasn't just a zodiac sign, but a doorway into the oldest myth humanity ever told? A symbol carried across the empires, carved into stone tablets, hidden in temples, whispered in mystery schools, long before anything called a horoscope existed. For thousands of years, astrologers, priests, and mystics treated Capricorn not as a personality type, but as an archetype of initiation, a gatekeeper, a guardian, a soul shape that only a few understood. But over time, something changed. Capricorn became flattened into cliches: ambitious, cold, disciplined, structured. Words that sound more like a job description than a spiritual identity. What you were never told is that Capricorn's true symbol isn't the goat climbing a mountain. It's the creature beneath it, the sea goat, half fish, a being that exists in two worlds at once. One part struggles through the harsh earth, the other swims through the depths of the unconscious sea. And until you understand why, you can't understand Capricorn at all. To do that, we have to go back, not 100 years, not 1,000, but 5,000, into the ancient world, when Capricorn wasn't a zodiac sign but a guardian of thresholds, a teacher of time, a creature that embodied humanity's greatest test. Can you rise without losing your soul? Can you carry life's weight without collapsing? Can you climb the mountain without forgetting the ocean you came from? Capricorn is the answer to a question the universe keeps asking humanity. What will you do with the time given to you? Capricorn does not start on the mountain. It starts in the sea. The fishtail of Capricorn is one of the most misunderstood symbols in all astrology. Hidden beneath the surface, it carries everything: memory, ancestry, instinct, grief, dreams, subconscious fear, old emotions, and even stories passed across bloodlines. Capricorn doesn't begin as a climber, it begins as a deep feeler, even if the world never sees that side. This is why Capricorn children often feel older than they are. It's not maturity, it's memory. They carry an invisible emotional archive inside them, sometimes even the emotional weight of their family. Some take on responsibility that isn't theirs. Some sense tension in a room before anyone speaks. Some grow up with the feeling that life is already asking something big from them. And almost every Capricorn learns early: feeling is dangerous. Feeling is heavy. Feeling pulls me down. So they push upward. They build armor. They develop discipline. They create structure. They seek control. They learn to endure. They become the reliable one because being anything else felt unsafe. People say Capricorns don't show emotion, but that's not true. Capricorn feels everything too deeply. They just fear what will happen if they let it out. The fishtail is the beginning. The goat is the choice. The mountain is the destiny. And Saturn is the test. Capricorn belongs to Saturn, not the strict planet, not the planet of karma, but the ancient face of time itself. Time in mythology was never gentle. The Greeks called it Cronus, the devourer of his own children, because time consumes everything. Saturn is pressure. Saturn is winter. Saturn is discipline. Saturn is the weight that either breaks you or shapes you. Most signs avoid Saturn. Capricorn walks toward him. Why? Because Capricorn is born knowing something the world often forgets. Without pressure, nothing meaningful is created. This is why Capricorns doubt shortcuts, why they test people before trusting them, why they endure what others try to avoid, why they feel a subtle internal ticking, why they think about legacy earlier than most people think about their next decision. Some call it anxiety, some call it ambition, Spiritually, it is Saturn's imprint. Saturn doesn't give blessings, he gives challenges, obstacles, delays, responsibilities, loneliness, burden, paths others cannot walk. Capricorn isn't strong because they were born strong. They're strong because Saturn leaves them no other choice. And here is the secret no horoscope ever mentions. Saturn's weight is not punishment, it is initiation. In ancient mystery schools, Saturn was the gatekeeper of wisdom, the one who tested you before allowing you to ascend, the one who ensured you were ready to hold real power. Saturn destroys the ego so Capricorn can uncover the soul. This is why so many Capricorns bloom late in life, why their true greatness doesn't arrive early, why they age in reverse, stricter when young, more free and soul-centered as they grow older. Saturn builds slowly, because Saturn builds forever. Capricorn's life is a mountain. At the bottom, pressure, duty, limits, fear, expectations, burdens. In the middle, structure, resilience, strategy, endurance, mastery. At the top, wisdom, vision, legacy, spiritual clarity, purpose. But Capricorn doesn't climb to escape anything. Capricorn climbs to understand, to see truth from above, to see the bigger pattern, to see what others overlook, to gain perspective so they can guide others. The climb is not ambition, it is spiritual instinct. Yet even as they ascend, the sea never leaves them. Capricorn is the only sign that lives in two realms, earth and water, responsibility and emotion, duty and depth. Every Capricorn is torn between strength and softness, control and surrender, leadership and loneliness, perfection and peace, legacy and living, duty and desire. People see the goat, few see the sea. People see the discipline, few see the sensitivity. People see the stability, few see the fear. People see achievements, almost no one sees the burden. Behind every strong Capricorn is a child who grew up too early. Capricorn's real story isn't about success or perfection. It is about integration, merging the goat with the fish, the climber with the dreamer, the duty with the soul. And that journey is only beginning. Capricorn's greatest secret is that the climb was never just upward, it was inward. And every Capricorn soul knows this, even if they can't explain it. There are moments in a Capricorn's life when everything they built suddenly feels hollow, when the mountain they worked so hard to climb begins to echo with questions they spent years avoiding, when the success they once chased begins to feel like a cage, when the life they constructed with discipline and precision starts to crack, revealing something they buried long ago. That moment is not failure, it is awakening. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, but Saturn's tests aren't designed to break you, they're designed to reveal you. Saturn strips away illusions, attachments, identities you outgrew, relationships that drain your power and paths you are no longer meant to walk. Saturn takes not out of cruelty, but out of protection, because Capricorn cannot reach its true destiny while carrying dead weight. This is why Capricorns often say, "Everything important in my life came after something painful." The breakup that forced growth, the disappointment that redirected their path, the betrayal that sharpened their instincts, the failure that clarified their purpose, the loneliness that taught them who they truly are. Capricorn's life is filled with these turning points, not because the universe is harsh with them, but because they were born with an ancient task to build something that lasts, and anything built to last cannot be built on illusions. This is where Capricorn's real power begins to emerge, deep beneath the armor, beneath the discipline, beneath the control, beneath the calm exterior they show the world. Capricorn holds a kind of wisdom that doesn't come from books or teachers. It comes from surviving, from carrying, from enduring, from holding everything together when others fall apart. Capricorns don't seek wisdom. They become wisdom through experience. And because of this, they attract a very specific kind of energy into their lives. People who are lost, people who need stability, people who seek guidance, people who unconsciously sense Capricorn's quiet strength and want to anchor themselves to it. But this is also where the shadow begins. Capricorns often become the emotional foundation for everyone around them, even when they themselves are exhausted. They play the role of the stable one, the responsible one, the reliable one. They become the rock and forget they are also flesh. Inside every Capricorn is a soft, deeply emotional, vulnerable soul that rarely gets the chance to breathe. They love deeply, but fear depending on others. They crave connection, but fear disappointment. They want to be understood, but don't know how to show their own needs. They long for partnership, but carry the belief they must walk alone. This is why Capricorns often feel like outsiders, even among friends. Like they're watching life instead of fully living it. Like they're responsible for everyone else's stability, but cannot admit when they need help themselves. Like they're always the parent in the room, even when they're exhausted and quietly breaking. The sea goat symbol reveals this paradox beautifully. The goat part climbs out of necessity. The fish part feels everything but hides in the depths. Capricorn is both, the external climber and the internal dreamer. The part that endures and the part that aches. The part that leads and the part that longs for comfort. But the world only rewards half of the creature. Capricorn learns that showing softness is dangerous, that asking for support is weakness, that relying on others means losing control. So they become their own protector, their own provider, their own guide. They become a fortress. Yet secretly, what they crave most is not admiration, but safety. Someone they don't have to be strong for. Someone who sees the ocean behind the mountain. Someone they can rest with, not perform for. Someone who can meet them at their depth, not just admire their height. Very few people understand Capricorn on that level. That's why Capricorns are selective, why they test people, why they take so long to trust, why they watch, observe, and wait. They are not judgmental, they are protective. Because when Capricorn finally gives their heart, they don't give casually, they give fully, they give with loyalty, devotion, and seriousness that most people are not prepared for. They don't want temporary love. They want a bond that lasts beyond time. Saturn does not deal in temporary things, neither do Capricorns. And deep down, Capricorn fears one thing more than failure: giving their heart to someone who cannot match its depth. This fear shapes many of their relationships. Some Capricorns stay in long, stagnant connections because they feel responsible. Some avoid love entirely because they fear vulnerability. Some attract partners who rely on them but don't support them in return. Some fall for potential instead of reality because they see others' hidden strengths more clearly than their own needs. But Capricorn's soul journey doesn't end in sacrifice. It evolves. There comes a time, usually around Saturn cycles, when Capricorn realizes they've been climbing a mountain built by other people's expectations, family demands, cultural pressure, fear of failure, need for stability, desire for control, childhood patterns, old wounds, and then something inside them shifts. They begin to question the mountain itself. Is this the life I want, or the life I was told to build? Is this path mine, or inherited? Am I climbing out of purpose or fear? Am I strong or just numb? Am I disciplined or detached? Am I leading or hiding? These questions shake the foundation of their identity. This is Capricorn's spiritual rebirth, and it's more powerful than any career success or social achievement, because this is when Capricorn begins to integrate the sea goat, when they stop rejecting their emotional depths, when they let themselves feel what they've ignored, when they finally acknowledge the child inside who never had the chance to rest, when they realize that strength is not the absence of vulnerability, it is the ability to hold both at once. This stage of Capricorn's evolution changes everything. The climber becomes conscious, the protector becomes open-hearted, the leader becomes compassionate, the strategist becomes intuitive, the achiever becomes soulful. Capricorn stops climbing for validation and starts climbing for meaning. They stop building for approval and start building for legacy. They stop controlling out of fear and start guiding out of wisdom. They stop isolating and begin connecting. They stop enduring silently and start speaking truth. This is when they become unstoppable, not because they are hard, but because they are whole. What emerges is a Capricorn who is not just disciplined, but insightful, not just successful, but purposeful, not just respected, but deeply loved, not just strong, but grounded in truth, not just a builder of structures, but a builder of souls, not just a climber of mountains, but a master of meaning. This is the Capricorn most people never meet, the Capricorn who has integrated shadow and light, duty and desire, strength and tenderness, earth and ocean. This is the Capricorn who fulfills the ancient archetype, the keeper of time, the bearer of wisdom, the teacher of endurance, the soul who turns pressure into purpose. This is Capricorn's true destiny. Capricorn's destiny is not written in their achievements, but in their transformation. What makes Capricorn extraordinary isn't that they survive difficulty. It's that they refine themselves through it, as if every challenge were a fire forging them into something purer. They don't just endure, they evolve. But evolution requires truth, and truth is something Capricorn has been avoiding for a long time. Not the truth of logic. Capricorn excels at that. Not the truth of responsibility. They live by it. But the truth of feeling. The truth that they are tired. The truth that they crave softness. The truth that they want to be held just as much as they hold others. The truth that the armor they wear is heavy. The truth that the mountain they climb sometimes feels endless. The truth that they long for someone to see the sea behind their eyes. This truth is the key to Capricorn's awakening, and it often arrives during a moment of collapse, not a dramatic breakdown. Capricorn rarely allows that, but a subtle unraveling, a moment when they realize, I can't carry this alone anymore. And for the first time, they consider letting someone in. This is the most courageous act a Capricorn will ever make, because the climb is not the hardest part. Letting go is. Releasing control feels foreign. Allowing help feels risky. Trusting someone with their vulnerability feels almost impossible. But once Capricorn takes that leap, even once, the entire shape of their soul shifts. They stop seeing vulnerability as danger. They begin to understand it as connection. And connection is the one thing Capricorn has been starving for beneath all their strength. There is a special kind of love that Capricorn is destined for, not chaotic, not immature, not unstable. Capricorn's soul calls for a love that is steady, wise, grounded, emotional, and spiritually deep. A love that understands the weight of loyalty. A love that grows slowly, but lasts. a love that doesn't crumble under pressure, a love that meets Capricorn at their depth, not their surface. When Capricorn meets this kind of love, something extraordinary happens. Their guard lowers, their heart softens, and their soul exhales. For the first time in a long time, they feel safe. But this is not just about romance. Capricorn's transformation is also about purpose. For most of their life, Capricorn confuses duty with destiny. They choose the stable path, the logical path, the responsible path. They build careers that others respect but rarely bring them true fulfillment. They accumulate achievements without ever asking if they are satisfied. And one day, often suddenly, they realize they've outgrown their own life. The job that once anchored them becomes suffocating. The role they played for others becomes limiting. The version of themselves they showed the world becomes too small. This is when Capricorn begins the most important climb, the one toward their authentic calling. It may come as an intuition they can't explain, a restlessness they can't ignore, or a desire that overwhelms them. It may come from loss, change, or a moment of deep introspection. But once it begins, Capricorn feels it unmistakably. I am meant for more than this. Not more in terms of prestige or status, more in terms of meaning, expression, contribution, soul, truth. This is the second life of Capricorn, the life they choose, not the life they were pressured into. In this life, Capricorn's gifts come alive. Their ability to see long-term patterns, their intuitive understanding of structure, their capacity to stay calm in chaos, their wisdom born from endurance, their leadership rooted not in ego, but in clarity, their ability to guide others through darkness, their uncanny talent for turning confusion into strategy, their instinct to protect what truly matters. Capricorn becomes not just a builder of material things, but a builder of people, ideas, and legacies. They become someone whose presence stabilizes others instantly, not because they're rigid, but because they're rooted. In this stage, Capricorn becomes magnetic. Their energy shifts, their confidence deepens. They speak less, but say more. They stop chasing and start choosing. They attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that resonate with their soul rather than their wounds. This is Capricorn's true maturity. Not age, but awakening. And when they reach this point, something beautiful happens. The sea and the goat merge. The emotional depth they once suppressed becomes a source of intuition. The discipline that once felt heavy becomes effortless. The responsibility that once overwhelmed them becomes purposeful. The past that once haunted them becomes wisdom. They no longer climb to escape fear. They climb because they finally understand who they are. This is the moment Capricorn becomes what the ancients saw, a creature capable of living in two worlds, the emotional and the material, the earthly and the spiritual, the past and the future. Capricorn becomes the bridge, a bridge between chaos and order, between emotion and structure, between history and destiny, between the depths of the sea and the heights of the sky, between what humanity has been and what it can become. This is why Capricorn has always been associated with leaders, builders, elders, teachers, mentors, protectors, and the keepers of ancient wisdom, not because they seek power, but because they are entrusted with it. Saturn chooses Capricorn because Capricorn can carry the weight without losing their soul, once they've integrated both halves of themselves. But this journey doesn't end with mastery. The final revelation of Capricorn is far more profound. At the top of the mountain, Capricorn discovers that the summit is not a place. It's a perspective, a way of seeing life. a clarity about what truly matters. They realize that legacy is not measured by achievements, but by impact. That strength is not measured by endurance, but by authenticity. That success is not measured by status, but by alignment with purpose. That time is not an enemy, but a teacher. That vulnerability is not weakness, but connection. That love is not a distraction, but the anchor of everything. Capricorn, after a lifetime of carrying the world on their shoulders, finally understands that the true task was never to bear the weight, but to transform it. They become the alchemist of the Zodiac, turning pressure into wisdom, pain into depth, discipline into freedom, responsibility into purpose. And the world feels this. People look to them for guidance without even knowing why. Their presence becomes calm, grounded, timeless. The presence of someone who has met themselves fully. The sea goat is no longer a symbol of contradiction. It becomes a symbol of unity, the creature that knows the sea intimately and climbs the mountain anyway, the soul that remembers pain and chooses love anyway, the heart that understands time and uses it wisely, the spirit that carries weight and turns it into strength. This is the Capricorn that no horoscope describes. The Capricorn who has completed the journey. The Capricorn who stands at the summit not as a conqueror, but as a guide. And this is the true meaning of Capricorn. The ancient, sacred archetype hidden beneath cliches, waiting to be remembered.